Hi, everybody. Kathy and Mark Cinemondo doing a full-fledged review for a big movie that just came out on Friday, Alien Romulus
Yeah.
by Fede Alvarez. And of
Yeah.
course, if you're an Alien fan, this is must viewing. If you're a horror fan, this is must viewing. But we do have to say that this movie is in the spoiler zone. So
It is.
if you haven't seen the movie, I would say turn it off. Turn it off now. Watch the movie. Come back to us here at the 1 minute mark or 37-second mark, and we can get more into it. And because we're going to give away plot points here, and we don't want to ruin it for you if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. I know. So we went first weekend to the theater. You know, I really like going back to the theater now. It's like having these event movies has really helped. Like I've been going to the theater more often. I've been seeing a lot of big films, and the theaters are gorgeous. I mean, they've done so much renovation at so many theaters, and everything's just spectacle. Like I love it.
It's beautiful, really and my daughter wanted to see it in 4DX, which
I didn't even know what that was, but it sounded terrifying.
Yeah, it's not an IMAX screen. It's kind of a standard screen, but you sit in these seats, and as soon as you get in, you realize, oh yeah, these things move much like the rides at Universal or maybe Disney. Where so if you know, there's this kind of stuff, and then there's people. There's something in the back of the chair that sort of like hits you in the back a little bit, or there's water, or if it's raining, water comes down. So you sort of. It's weird, but I said, and of course I can get nauseous pretty easily, you know. So the first, minute or two, or even the previews, they had it going. I said, this could have been a mistake, but then it didn't. It was fine. I sort of got into it, So anyway, that was fun to see. But did you see it in IMAX, Kathy?
I saw an IMAX, and I actually, the seats rumbled. I mean, the sound is so good. I almost felt like I was in like a 4DX. I didn't have anything rain on me, but you could feel it, like when the ship was, especially when the ship was taking off, I was like, just like shaking
nice and loud.
But yeah, I was very excited about this because I really like Fede Alvarez's first two movies. I love the remake of Evil Dead. Had no expectations of that movie. I just, I mean, Evil Dead sequels were varying degrees themselves, and then to have him come in and just like take that concept and make it actually really scary. There was no comedy. It was full on scary. And that just shows you how great that idea is. And it's rich for mining, because that thing blew me away. That blood rain, I was like, holy shit, who did this movie?
Yeah. I mean, he really knows. He knows how to do that. And Don't Breathe is more of a low budget thing, but that certainly it was very well directed and was a hit on its own. So you coming in, you're thinking, okay, Alien Romulus. Of course, you had Aliens, you had Alien 3, then you had all the sort of like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which they sort of go into sort of the deeper, where do these aliens come from? What's all, how does that work? But this movie goes back to the first two films. It's obviously it's an homage to Alien and Aliens, which are two totally different movies, but classics in their own.
It takes place in the time frame between the first and second movie, so you have a little bit of that history, and so you're not into that whole Prometheus part, and it's not even like an alternate universe about it. It's like in the universe during that time period after that one disaster happened. So that was kind of cool.
And so also even the technology, like the sounds and the way the stuff on the ship looked, was very much from the first movie. The same noises, the same sort of
the music.
And that was like the music. Everything was like, oh yeah, this is my jam. This is where I belong. It's my home. So the film stars Cailee Spaeny as Rain. She's sort of the lead, and there is David Jonsson plays Andy, who is the android, who is brother away. Yeah, he was incredible. He was fantastic. Great.
So good.
Then there was Archie Renaux played Tyler. Isabela Merced played Kay. So there's like 5 or 6 of these young actors and I've never really seen them before. I know they've been in other things, but it's interesting to see them. It's much like the first movie where you really don't know who's going to get it, and how that's going to work out. And they're stuck on this horrible mining planet, and they want to get away, and they want to go to this place where they can actually see the sun, because there's no sun on this planet.
And it looked really horrible too. It looked
horrible.
Super dark, grimy, total chaos all the time. It looked like there was no like real life there. Like when they were eating there, it looked like these pre-made chunks of whatever it was. Like you could tell it was just something. wasn't even about like, let's go out to eat. It's like, let's just eat this. Like,
yeah,
I
and
love that.
and Rain, has made her hours, 12,000 hours or whatever it is. So she now can to transfer to a different place, and she goes up, and they say no. The company says you can't. We've changed the numbers, and
Doubled
it's double.
it.
Yeah, so she's got to be there another 5 or 6 years. She's got her brother who is an android, Andy, and he is programmed by her dad to be sort of like a brother, a friend, and he just tells all these super corny jokes.
It was
and
pretty
it's kind
cute.
of on cute, simple. He was just like this really nice, sweet friend of a friend. And so when she finds out that she's stuck here with him, her friends say, hey, you know what, we have this plan. There's this derelict spaceship that's in orbit, and we can get the cryo beds and get in steal a ship, and boom, off we go to this beautiful paradise. Sounds like a great idea. Of course, they go up to this spaceship.
What could go wrong? I mean, as we know, it's always a great idea to do this.
Right. But I like the fact that it was
gonna be good.
But I like the fact that the motivation to do it was something I understood. It wasn't stupid. It was like, hey, get off this horrible place. We've got to do this really scary thing that is potential, that's also illegal, could get us big trouble, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's not buying drugs. It's not like partying. It's like they want a better life. They just really need to change their lives, and they feel like, and you're getting that too, is there is no way out. Like they will continually raise your hours. You're never getting away. So the only way to get out is to do it this way. So not a super solid plan, because so many X factors. They didn't really know anything about the ship. They were like kind of like just some basics, but they didn't really understand. Like they got the whole. I love the idea of the ticking clock that they built in, where the whole thing is it's surrounded by huge rings of ice and stone.
It's almost like a Saturn.
Oh, it's going to hit these in 36 hours, and they get on the ship and they find out it's way less than that.
Right. It's like,
they didn't get a lot right on this.
No, and there was also this huge, like a space station up there. So there's all these things they're figuring out. And but what happens is, of course, they stumble upon, when they're going for the cryo fuel, because the cryo beds don't have enough fuel for the 7-year voyage, or however long the voyage is. They see that there's like the face huggers are, they're going, what are those things? But because they're turning on the this long, derelict ship, things start happening. Things start kicking into gear.
Well, the heat kicks in, like they were frozen.
Right.
Especially in this room. So the heat's starting to kick in, things are starting to melt, the gravity is happening. So all of a sudden these things are thawing out. There's like 100 of them, or so 100. You remember how bad it was when there were just 2 of them in some of these movies? Like 100. They were like a bunch of spiders. You must have been loving that.
No, that I know. I'm not a spider guy, but these don't bother me because they're not spiders. They're face huggers. They're
okay.
different.
Well, that's not so bad. Face huggers are way less terrible.
So,
but I also love the idea. Like I like they were just young people, and they weren't experts, and they went up here, and they were like anyone going into a haunted house, not expecting, let's go to this haunted house and steal some shit or whatever, or maybe there's a monster. Let's go in. They're not expecting anything in this thing. There's been no publicity about it. No one knows what's happening. They do have the quick opening scene where you see them snagging a giant like pod, and that's part of the space station thing. And they are basically cutting it open to get, because that initiative to want to get this creature and weaponize it, as humans do, has never stopped. As we all know from Aliens 1 and 2, that was the whole point of these missions, was to get this creature so they could turn it into a weapon. So they're still doing it in this movie, because it's between those 2 movies. So
yeah,
that was part of it too. So we don't realize it. Like that space station is connected to the abandoned ship. So they're in there. That thing is in there.
It's in there, and they do like find in one of the rooms like this is big hole in the floor, and you can tell it's the acid sort of ate away at the floor, the blood acid.
You just see this big hole, like, oh, and they're like, wonder what happened here. That's weird.
And then they also see this half an android, which they say, hey, maybe this guy has some answers, when they figure out the face huggers are loose and they're alive and they're coming after him. So but what really works here is how well this is directed. I think all the sort of like escaping from the face huggers, and it had a really visceral effect. Like, it was really like intense. I was like, riveted to my seat. So, and so he knows how to do that. And so you realize, okay, he's basically a horror director. That's what this is going to be. This is going to be a full on these young people against the face huggers and eventually the xenomorph and whatever else comes down the pike.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And it's extremely well shot. I mean, it's really well mounted. I love the way the ship looked. I love some of the stuff in it, like the gravity, there's the gravity thing turns on and off. So they'll be floating, and all of a sudden the gravity kicks in and boom, they go to the ground. That was
love
cool.
that because that kicks in. It was just kicking in, and they were kind of like, whoa, I was kicking in. And that was another great directing, feat when they had that. They were floating, so then the camera also looked like it was floating. So you were I was barely almost nauseating, but gorgeous. So it made it feel like you were also floating. So it all made sense, like the kind of disorienting nature of being able to float, and you're turning kind of upside down. You got to grab onto something. So beautifully done, and they did that a couple times. That amped it up every time, like that one where she's trying to find her way through all the acid that was kind of floating. Like that was just amazing. Oh my gosh, so complicated.
Let me tell you, in 4DX, your seat's doing that. So I was going,
God, no, there's no way I'm ever doing that. Not ever, ever. No.
But that's a great scene with the later in the film when they kill some aliens. Of course, their blood, which you can't touch, is floating, and they have to sort of float through it, around it, so they don't get hit. And so there's a lot of smart stuff going on as far as the setup of and what's going on and how the aliens attack. And so I was just riveted through the whole thing.
Yeah, I thought there were a few things. The cast was great.
And David Jonsson as Andy, by the way, he was so great, because halfway through or a third of the way through, he's this more simple, sort of very likable brother who tells jokes, but then they have to switch his disc because they need access into all the rooms, and it has to be an android. And so they put in a disc of another android, and all of a sudden he's not sweet and cute. He's like a very serious, upgraded android,
British accent.
British accent, who has a mission. He has a mission. And another android tells him, who played by the late Ian Holm with CGI.
That was cool. I loved he was in it again. Sort of.
He was, and he played Ash. And but in this one, his character's name is Rook, which is kind of fun because the android in Aliens, played by Lance Henriksen, his name was Bishop. So you have this whole chess thing. Bishop.
Oh, that's funny.
Chess pieces. So
I know that they said, I heard that the family, because I was wondering, like, how did they get the rights to use Ian Holm? But I'd heard that they were thrilled that he got to be in it, that he would have wanted to have been in it, and that Hollywood had kind of turned their back on him. They were kind of bummed that Hollywood kind of ignored him later in his life. Like, he died in 2021, I think. So they said he would have loved this. Definitely put him in your movie. Like, I thought that was very cool as like a tribute to him. And also I love that Fede Alvarez was like, why are they not bringing this guy back? We had Lance Henriksen in a couple movies. We had, so they had androids that would come back, and he was always bummed that they didn't use Ian Holm. So I love that as a fan and as a, alien aficionado, he put that in there. And I love that because that's what a movie fan does. Like, they bring it deeper into an emotional space by doing something like that. And I thought that was so cute. So
and
cool.
he was just like Ash. I mean, he was a different android, but he had the same sort of, you use the same, some of the same language, perfect organism. You have my sympathies, all the stuff that harkens back to the first film. And the CGI, or however they did that, looked really good. Like,
it did look good.
You can tell, obviously it's not him. So that, but you can suspend disbelief. It wasn't wonky or really terrible. I thought they did a nice job with that.
And I thought it was okay to be a little bit wonky because he's not a real person.
And
even though they're and he's been damaged. I also like that. So I thought that was cool. And again, like when David Jonsson turns into the scientist, like his posture changes, his whole demeanor, like he's in his eyes are a little bit cooler and calculating, and he's not being like super sweet or nice to the girl anymore. And he's kind of like, who are you? Like, he's just like, anyway.
Right.
And she's all like, what? She kept trying to grab him, going, oh, it'll be okay. He's like,
because
And
she still
played
has
like
love.
3 characters on this movie.
Yeah,
So switch it around. Yeah.
Right. So you really have to follow it. It's that well done, and the acting, all the actors did a nice job. There's guys you really don't like in this. And there's guys that you feel sad when they go. So that's all cool. But
Didn't
there's some
like
great
them in a good way. Like didn't like them because yes, they're jerks, but they're also young. They don't understand the stakes.
right, and you care
there's
for them,
a little bit of
obviously.
that. Yeah. Yeah, you
Right.
care. Yeah.
And I will say this first scene where Aileen Wu's character Navarro gets the first face hugger, and so
I was
the scene
bummed. She wasn't in it enough. I was bummed that
I
she got
know.
taken out so fast.
She was cool, but of course she's the one that had
But
that
it's a
sort of
great
that
scene.
light that could.
That was such a good scene in the trailer. Oh my god, it was so scary.
Yeah,
And
so
that's a new trick. Like I love that little trick they added. That's a new thing. Like he brought in new things to this movie, which I really enjoyed. Like he knows that we have all the information about Alien, but he brings in new ways to depict it. And I thought that was a really cool idea that they would have a little bit of upgraded technology they could just find and randomly use. I'm like,
Right.
oh, what's this? He's all like looking at her arm, going, oh, this is cool. Okay. And then not realizing, oh shit, now I got to use this.
yeah, and just a little 4DX aside, when it starts thumping against her chest,
were you getting hit?
Boom, the seat's doing this thing in the back
How
of your
did they
like.
program that? How
It's amazing.
how does it work? Oh my god,
no,
insane.
But it's like, I went whoa, and then there's the bounce. Like, what's wrong? I said, oh, it's just cool.
Nothing, just getting kicked in my ass. I'm back here.
So that was really fun. But she was good. She left kind of early. And then of course one by one, these we won't give away everything, but that's what happens in these movies. But there's some really cool stuff. There's a cool scene in the elevator shaft, which I thought was really kicking ass.
Yeah,
I thought that was really good. And then in Alien and Aliens, as we get to the end of the movie, there's always the false ending, right? So Ripley gets into the shuttle. We think it's kind of over. It's not over.
Not over.
Aliens, the same thing, where she's all of a sudden she has to get that offload or what it was called and fight the big mother up on the ship or whatever. The same thing happens here. What are your thoughts about that?
Okay, before I went, I'd heard there was a divisive ending, a little divisiveness on how that ended, and I think I'm in the camp of it should have ended at the real ending, and that the sort of second ending. It's hard to explain what it is, but there was sort of it continues when I feel like it should have ended when they get into the ship and they get into the things. I did not like the last 20 minutes. I thought that scene, I didn't like how the monster looked. I didn't like, first of all, I hated the contrivance that someone was pregnant anyway, because I knew that was going to be so it felt very like, so I was rolling my eyes at that. I didn't like that. Also, I liked Cailee in this. She is no Sigourney Weaver. And no matter how hard they called into Sigourney Weaver by having her in her underwear running around and getting into the suit, just like Sigourney Weaver, it just painfully paled. And I know that apparently Ridley Scott gave him notes on this movie. I guarantee it was that. Because he's kind of like, you got to know when to cut you got to know when to cut. You got to keep it tight. And he's all like, well, so he put that ending in there. And I understand it kind of ties into Prometheus, I guess, because they kind of go into the mother thing.
Yeah, but
it was painful to me. I did not like it at all. I didn't think it was well shot. I didn't like anything about it.
I didn't like it either because it really wasn't the alien. Like if you like, I don't want like this, half human, half xenomorph thing, like being born out of this poor woman's body and this bloody, disgusting birth scene. It was just off-putting. I just was turned off by it.
Need it. I wanted to see the alien. I didn't, like you said, I don't care about any of that. I don't care. I didn't like this in any of the movies. I didn't like this half human thing at all anyway. And I think they ruined the other movies. To see it again, I was like, oh God, what? Like, just show me the alien.
Right.
Like, so I even thought it was oddly shot. It felt kind of awkward. It didn't make sense to me. They're crashing, they're not crashing. It felt repetitive. Like they had the crashing ship already. They had the crashing ship. Then they kind of have the crashing ship again. Oh, then we have this extra thing attached to the ship to get also I'm like, really, you guys? It was just like confusing.
I felt
elegant tight as the first part.
I thought there was an element of exhaustion because I think the movie's 2 hours long, and I think it would have been much better at 1 hour 45.
Yes,
like
they cut out that last scene, but perfect length.
You didn't need all that stuff but that's what they do. And they said, we have to put that in. Maybe it was Ridley Scott saying, no, we have to add this extra thing to take it over
No,
the
I
edge.
think Ridley Scott wanted
But,
it out.
oh, he wanted it
I
out.
think
Oh,
I'm guessing, but the criticism sounded like you have to know what to cut. You have
okay.
to know
That was,
when
oh,
to and to me, it sounds like, I mean, as I'm watching the movie, it was a tight, elegant, great movie. And then this last 20 minutes was like, what the hell? You've lost all your momentum with this. Like, and so I
right.
guarantee, as just knowing filmmakers and knowing, I was like, yeah, I bet Ridley Scott said, you don't need this last part. You don't need it. Like,
You
I
didn't
would
need it.
rather have not known, because you have a pregnant woman in one of those cryo things, which is enough. And you knew she injected herself. So maybe there's a hint that someone does
That was
much
exactly.
better. Yeah.
Much better. And that's kind of was the way it was in the first movie. Like, the
And maybe
cat
it's
was
too
like,
repetitive. I don't know.
but or you can have the alien, maybe the mother alien, somehow it's a one-on-one battle done in a different way. But it was
Yeah.
just like, it was very much like, okay, we're back in the shuttle. It's
Yeah.
something's going wrong. And then as soon as I saw that, the other woman's, her name was Kay in this, was her cryo bed was going crazy and malfunction. I said, oh, here we go. Here's the crazy birth. And here's the extra, thing that pops up. And it also didn't make a lot of sense because they go into this sort of cargo hold below,
Yeah.
like that whole, I understood where we were.
Ugly and
Oh,
confusing.
I understood where we were in this huge ship. I kind of got, okay, they're going back and forth between the ship and the space. I got all of that. I sensed where we were.
Yeah.
As soon as we got on that ship, I lost all, like, where are we? What's going on here?
Yeah. What? I know she went in there, but I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, why?
Yeah, but
Why
why
is
is
it
she
here?
down there? And why is she
Yeah.
manually trying to open that up? It was like, it wasn't like the first movie where it totally made sense. Like, get in your suit, open up, lock yourself in, open up the door and get them sucked out. That made
Yeah. I mean,
sense.
it felt, yes, exactly. It made
Yeah,
sense until the movie made sense. It was relatively grounded for what it was until that last scene. Then I feel like they threw everything out the window, like her hanging off that thing, the rope out of the door, and almost getting like, it was just,
yeah.
it almost felt like somebody else directed it. It felt like, I was like, why is this in here? You ruined it. But some people like it. I didn't personally.
Well, some people, more is better or whatever. But I think, you don't have to make these movies don't have to be 2 hours plus.
No,
You can make a really great movie for an hour
movie
40.
like this. I mean, how
Yeah.
long was the first Alien? Do we even know?
It was right around 2 hours or like an hour.
Okay.
This is hour 59. I think it was about the same, maybe a little shorter.
Oh.
But that didn't feel long because, again, and what this one did it too. The first half hour, 40 minutes, you're sort of just, the alien doesn't pop in yet. And this one took a little while too. And I'm okay with that. I like the slow build. And then when you get into it,
I did too. I like the beginning.
There are rhythms to these movies where you go, okay, it feels halfway through. Okay, here's the third act that's starting. Here's the big climax. Okay, now we should be over. And maybe a little hint of something that make you, but not like, oh, here's the climax and another 20 minutes. That is not, the alien's not, our favorite alien, our H.R. Geiger alien is nowhere to be found.
Where is it? Where's the alien? That's one. And also, I feel like when we saw the first Alien and Aliens, we'll say, that was brand new. We hadn't seen it before. It was like, I remember that first movie blew my mind. I'd see things and I was like, wow, what? Like, even the androids when he was trying to kill her by sticking the magazine in her mouth, all kinds of weird shit. Like, that felt really unusual. The fact that Sigourney Weaver was this badass woman who was like, finally, who survives, who was kind of just a nondescript, almost whoever in the beginning, and it just ramps up.
Right.
I didn't get that from this. And then I also felt like these are quibbles because overall, I thought this movie was fantastic. I feel like they backed up a lot of deaths all at once, kind of get them over real quick, fast. And I'm like, why? Well, hold on. Space these out. Like when he rescues the one girl, the one guy who's really the asshole who hates the android. And then he walks up that thing and he's kind of messing with the kind of pod that it's in, hiding in. And then he's killed. Then another person's killed. I'm like, whoa, wow, whoa, hold on. And I feel like the death was over way too fast. They didn't, and not that you have to linger, but I feel like we should have seen more leading up to it, more suspense, and then more anguish. Because the thing is, you want to see people suffering. I feel like he went out way too fast. They didn't really show enough of it. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like, because why throw in that extra 20 minutes when you could have spaced out some more cool stuff in the space station
more
and
chasing.
just, I mean, going back to the original one, you know, it everybody's spaced out, you know, only at the end when gosh, like Lambert and Yaphet Kotto's character, oh God, I can't believe I can't remember, they die very quickly, but it's really spaced out and really intense, you know, when Dallas gets it. So yeah, it's not the same way. So that I agree with you there. But over, and also it's, yeah, I think the timing is a little bit off. Like it didn't sort of, I love so much about it, but it just, I think maybe it is just the last 15, 20 minutes took the edge off. And I walked out of there going like, instead of saying, man, that was fantastic, I loved it, I said, yeah, that had a lot of good stuff in it, but the ending sort of was kind of a bummer.
The ending wasn't good. I know, and the whole time I was like, wow, that was fantastic, that was good. And then that happened, I was like, why is this here? I hate how it looks. I don't like how it looks at all. It was like, ugh, I did, and it grew up really fast. Everything felt too speeded up. Like, slow down. And like you were saying, I loved that kind of slow burn beginning, and they're discovering and they're looking around. Like, I could have watched that for another 20 minutes. Like that sort of little hints of danger, barely escaping. You know, I mean, I thought, and the face huggers are really fun, but you could have added something new besides that, which wasn't really new, because that was the one thing he did do. He did tribute to a lot that I thought was cool. A lot of Easter eggs, like the alien coming in and being real close to her face. We've all seen that, Alien 3. You know, the person who, you know, has the thing in them and they think, oh, is it going to come out? Like, and it all happened really too fast too. Like in the first movie, it took him a while. Like he's like, oh, I don't feel so good. And they're like,
he's eating. Yeah. And it's a very intense scene.
Not knowing what they're up against, you know, because they didn't know what they were up against, because no one did. So a little bit of complaint there, but overall gorgeously shot. That I would say just leave after they get on the pod and you will like the movie better. I mean, just you don't need to see anything.
Really cool stuff, like when they take off, you know, from the mining planet.
Oh yeah,
like, I'm in this, and it's like I felt like I was on a ride, and it was just cool. I was actually smiling. So there's a lot of fun to be had here, and you might think that the last 20 minutes is really cool. It's more stuff. It's more action.
People liked it,
you know, but I said it just fell flat to me. Like it just took off the edge of like, my God, it took it from being like a 9.5 down to like a 7.5. Yes. 2 points off. Still enjoyed it very much. And I appreciate, you know, doing a movie for I think a fan film for Alien fan film. That's what it was. It didn't bring anything new. It said, let's go to the greatest hits. But the one thing they brought at the end, which was new, just didn't work.
Yes.
For me.
They didn't need it. I just wanted to see Alien again. I was excited to know they're going back around the first time of the first Alien. I'm excited because I didn't like those last Aliens. I didn't need to see all that new stuff. I didn't like it. I just want to see the Alien. Give me that. And they just barely showed them, which was fine. They had too many of them a little bit. I mean, it was a little bit, you know, they kind of went from Alien to Aliens.
Well, they certainly had that mix.
And then they had the multiples.
Right. Yeah, they had the pulse rifles, all that kind of stuff.
I enjoyed that. It was kind of like a tribute to each movie.
It was good. I liked it and had some of that stuff. But it would have been more interesting. And again, it's not reinventing the wheel. Somehow happens where she's got to go back and save Andy or something. And in that tunnel, and it's just one alien, like the mother alien. I'm happy. Go back to that one-on-one and have a cat and mouse game and get the sense of that. And the goal is just to get on the, you know, kill the alien or get on the shuttle, but don't add the, you know, this human / alien thing, which just is kind of just damn goofy. And it reminded me of Prometheus a little bit.
It did. Another little quibble is the time. Like we had the counting, the clock ticking down because the thing was going to crash, right? And they say we have 20 minutes. We need to get out of here. Why did no one care? They had 20 minutes. Like she's going up the elevator. Oh, I have to go back down and get Andy. It's like, you'd probably have 10 minutes now. What are you doing? And there was no way all that could have been done in 10 minutes. So I was a little like, what happened to the time thing here?
They screwed.
They needed to have, because in the first movie it was like, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. And you're all like, and she's running like, holy shit, I have 4 minutes. They were all like, I'm just going to go back down and I'm going to take the ladder because the thing, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, they I remember that, you know, the computer said 10 minutes until you know, impact or whatever.
Contact.
And then like it was another 20 minutes before it was 5 minutes.
And nobody seemed to be too worried about it. They're like, We'll get there. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
We'll just crash into this ring, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
But those we're kind of piling on, but overall, really enjoyed it. There was a lot of fantastic stuff. And again, if you just leave after they get into the pod, you will like this movie better. Do not make the mistake I made.
Or if you go in saying, "Hey, I know the last 20 minutes is
Yeah.
not going to be great," or excuse me, if then you know it, it's like, okay, let's just see if it really is bad, or maybe it's not as bad as people think, you know. So I just felt like it just sort of had a little sour, you know, it was all sweet the whole way, and a little sour touch at the end. So,
And a lot of movies don't land the ending. Like you can still enjoy a movie and not like totally nail it at the end. And you know, it didn't totally nail it. It's not that it was a total disaster. It just gave us too much information we didn't really need for this tight, cool movie that it was. But I will give it props. It's continuing the box office, you know, salvaging, you know, the resurgence. It made like, I think 50 million this weekend. And then worldwide, it's over 100 million. That's like great news, not only for theaters, but for this movie franchise, which I would like to see more of this. I would love to see Fede Alvarez do another one and know when to quit.
yes, I mean, he really loves it, and he's obviously a big fan. He's very
it.
talented, so he could definitely do another one. He just maybe just a little script, you know, script doctoring here and there would take care
Listen
of
to Ridley Scott when he talks to you. Number one, he knows what he's talking about, except for he did Prometheus, which I did not like.
Yeah.
But other than that,
he tried something else.
He tried. He had the dumbest scientist on the planet. But hey,
when you have dumb characters do dumb things, you lose interest. Here, they're not dumb.
They actually were supposed to be kind of dumb though, because they didn't know, and that made sense that they would act that way.
Right, but they also sort of they under the circumstances, they did what I probably would have done if I was.
Yeah, I didn't feel like, oh, you guys, you know, you didn't really have that. They were really trying their best.
Right.
So, they didn't take their glove off and try and touch an alien with their bare hand. Yeah. No one did that.
I know. So, oh my God.
I still remember. I was so angry. I was screaming when I saw him. What? You're a scientist.
I know. So weak.
Anyway, I do recommend the film. Overall, I do recommend the film. It's a blast to see it on the big screen, maybe 40x. You can take.
And we don't want to give you all the good parts, obviously, if you haven't seen.
More to it.
Yeah, so listen, it's an alien film. It's a new alien film, and it's a good one. I think in the listing, I would say it's the third best one.
Yeah, it'd be 1, 2, and now this.
Yeah, better than Alien 3, better than the Covenant, better than Prometheus, better than all the.
3 probably comes after it, but none of those new ones. No, they're all way at the bottom of the 4, and then the Prometheus, and what was the last one called? I don't remember.
Alien Covenant, I think, was one of them with. Just what are you guys doing, man? Get back to basics.
What the hell? I don't even remember that movie. Just like disaster.
I know. But this one
it's got it tight, small, people like on a ship trying to figure stuff out. That was good.
Yes, that was really good.
Yeah.
Just get rid of that other thing at the end. Okay.
That thing at the end. That ending.
Let us know what you think.
I gotta keep saying that. Some people like it.
If you liked it, please defend it, because you can certainly we can change our minds, but I doubt it for this. But
tell us why we're wrong. Just tell us, what was it we missed the point of the ending? Tell us why we missed that. Well, tell us why you're wrong. Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, maybe there's something we missed.
Maybe we just didn't get it. I don't know.
But then you couldn't control those guys if they want those people to be, the new miners of the future. I don't think they're gonna want to mine. They're gonna want to kill people.
They're kill all the miners themselves, and then no one's left to mine. That's what's gonna happen. Yeah, no, exactly.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.